Good evening and welcome to Four Quarters with William and Tally. I'm your host, Tally Campbell. William Cook is due to some issues over the summer vacation time. He will not be here. We apologize for not getting the show to you out on time, ladies and gentlemen. We have week 1, 2, 3, and 4 to cover for you, so we better get started. Week 1 game opener, Toronto versus the Tiger Cats, 30-17 for Toronto. Kerry Joseph and the Toronto Argonauts need just over a quarter to take care of the Hamilton Tiger Cats on Wednesday night. Joseph threw 2 of his 3 TD passes in 20-point first quarter to pace the Argos to a 30-17 win over the Tiger Cats. In the CFL opener for both teams, 23,211 fans attended that game, the lowest for Week 1. Montreal and Calgary. The Montreal Alouettes hope to win over Montreal 40, Calgary 27. The Montreal Alouettes hope their win over Calgary is a soggy mistake filled Grey Cup rematch Wednesday marks the start of a better result against West Division teams in this season. Damon Duval a perfect 6 for 6 in field goals to tie his career record, and Montreal beat Stampeders 40-27 in the CFL season opener for both clubs. Evan Corbin, Kerry Wakuns, and Chip Cox scored touchdowns for Montreal. The Alouettes were 3 for 5 versus the West in 2008. Against Calgary, Montreal was over 3, including a 22-14 loss in the Grey Cup. Alouettes getting the highest fan attendance at 35,650. Edmonton and Winnipeg, 19-17 for Edmonton. The Edmonton Eskimos won their season opener, but unfortunately for their running back, Jesse Lumpson wasn't a very big part of it. Ricky Ray passed for 1 touchdown and ran in another as the Eskimos slipped past the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 19-17 Thursday night, giving Richie Hull a win as coaching debut. The BC Lions, Saskatchewan Roughriders 28, Saskatchewan 24, BC. The Saskatchewan Roughriders seemed to give up the ball every opportunity. Fortunately for them, the BC Lions were even more generous. Saskatchewan and BC combined for 15 turnovers as the Roughriders opened their 2009 CFL regular season with a sloppy 28-24 win over the Lions in front of 30,615 spectators Friday. A lot of action in Week 2. First getting to Terrace Edwards doesn't care if the Winnipeg Blue Bombers' convincing 40-30 win Friday night over the Calgary Stampeders will convert some debuting fans to believers, as long as his teammates show the same confidence in each other that helped knock off the defending Grey Cup champions. S.J. Green has spent 2 years bidding his time on the Alouettes practice squad, waiting for a chance to make his mark. On Thursday night in Montreal's home opener, he did just that. Green's touchdown catch triggered a 31-point fourth quarter explosion, and that gave off Alouettes a 50-16 win over the Edmonton Eskimos in front of a sellout crowd of 20,202 at Perel Molson Stadium. In Vancouver, British Columbia, Quinton Porter is showing his progress and growing maturely at quarterback for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and he got some critical help from his defense Friday night. Porter sacked 10 times in a 30-point loss here last year, threw for 222 yards and what proved to be the winning touchdown without an interception. He also ran for 54 more yards in a second major in a 31-28 CFL victory over the stumbling BC Lions. In Toronto, when opportunity knocked, Darian Durant and the Saskatchewan Roughriders were there to answer the call. Durant threw the 3 touchdown passes while the Roughriders took an advantage of the Toronto misses to score a 32nd quarter point en route to a 46-36 win over the Argonauts on Saturday night. Saskatchewan's 2-0 blew the game open by scoring 28 points in the field, 4 minutes and 58 seconds of the second of emphatically a race of a 13-7 deficit. Durant battled through a badly bruised right thumb suffered last week against BC, completing an 18 of 29 passes for 205 yards, and an interception to prove 6-0 as a CFL starter. Getting to Week 3, Edmonton 22, BC 40, Jarius Jackson proved to be one heck of an insurance policy for the BC Lions. Jackson passed for 4 touchdowns, including a pair of long strikes to G. Roy Simon, as the Lions won their first game of the season, Thursday, 40-22 over the Edmonton Eskimos. Jackson, who came in for injured starter Buck Pierce in the first quarter, finished with an impressive 362 yards. Calgary 44, Toronto 9. Joffrey Reynolds got the ball rolling for Calgary, and the defense did the rest as the Stampeders trunched the Toronto Argonauts 44-9 on Friday night. Reynolds scored touchdowns on the ground and through the air for Calgary 1-2 before the defense took over in the game in the second half with 3 scores of their own. Montreal and Saskatchewan Roughriders, Antonio Calavino's 2 touchdown passes passes put him in some disputed company Saturday. Calvillo's passes moved him into second-place tie on the all-time list of the Montreal Alouettes, dismantled the home team Saskatchewan Roughriders 43-10 to remain the CFL's lone unbeaten team. Hamilton Tiger Cats, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, 25, Hamilton 13, Winnipeg. Hamilton quarterback Kevin Glenn insists he is not a very Bengal man, but he couldn't hide a huge grin as he spoke with reporters after coming off the bench in the second half to lead the Tiger Cats past the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 25-13 in front of a loud crowd of 24,292 at Lower Wayne Stadium on Saturday night. Week 4, we start Montreal. The Montreal Alouettes remain undefeated, but now they know they have a dangerous rival in the CFL East Division. The Hamilton Tiger Cats. Antonio Cavito passed for 404 yards with touchdown tosses to Jamiel Richardson and Brian Bratoon to lead the Alouettes to a 20-21-8 victory over the Tiger Cats. That was closer than the score indicated on Thursday night. Then heading to Winnipeg, leading receiver Arnold Bruce III was out of sight and out of mind as the Toronto Argonauts earned their second win of the season. Toronto went into the game under a cloud of controversies after rookie head coach Bart Andrus left Bruce at home for unprofessional behavior. It didn't seem to make a difference as the Argos earned a Methkinengo 19-5 victory over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on Friday night. In Vancouver, BC, the Calgary Stampeders used a 48-10 crushing of the BC Lions Friday night to show them they've got a giant leap toward returning to last year's form. The humbling loss left the Lions wondering which direction their season is heading. Quarterback Henry Burris threw 3 touchdowns passing, and Jory Ronalds ran for 2 more as the Stampeders beat the Lions both physically and mentally. In Regina, the Edmonton Eskimos head coach Richie Hall walked on the field at Regina's Moskin Stadium in standing ovation prior to Saturday's game against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The crowd's response was far less friendly as a final buzzer. The Eskimos recovered from a 22-0 second quarter deficit to defeat the Saskatchewan 38-33, spoiling the Roughriders' celebration honoring their 1989 Grey Cup championship team. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you're all caught up in the world of Canadian Football League. We'll be here next week to do Game 5. William Cook will be here to help us along that way as well. Thank you for watching. I am your host, Tali Campbell, for 4 Quarters of William and Tali. Have a good night and enjoy your football.